This is America's oldest soccer tournament. Built in small towns with big dreams. From local grounds to the biggest stages, part-timers and major leaguers chase the same thing. A cup that doesn't care about your club's payroll or what the pundits say. A cup that invites the chaos and carries a legacy. Under the lights, between the lines, it's one match at a time. To cement your name in history. This is the 111th edition of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
We welcome you to the Steel City, where a Pittsburgh derby nearly 70 years in the making takes center stage in the first round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Pittsburgh Riverhounds host Steel City FC at Highmark Stadium. We welcome you to Pittsburgh alongside Ryan Davis. I'm Sam Goldfarb, thrilled to bring you this first meeting between two Pittsburgh area sides in 69 years. Trevor Ammon, our player to watch for Pittsburgh, leads the line.
He's getting his first start this season. He played in the first 3 matches off the bench, but he's trying his best to get into the starting lineup permanently. He wants a big night tonight, get some goals under his belt.
His first start in Riverhounds colors. His opposite number, a creative playmaker for Steel City FC, the USL League 2 side, in Nick Greka.
He has ties to this city. Mom, pop, cousins, nanny, grandpa, they're all in the stands looking after this guy. He's the emotional leader of this team in the middle of the park, and he's going to pull the strings in the first half and the second half tonight.
The captain for Steel City FC, engineering everything between the lines. Just about set to get everything going here from Pittsburgh. The first ever meeting between Pittsburgh area sides in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup in 69 years, and we get it underway after this short break. Stick with us, lineups and kickoff next. Thank you, guys.
Rodman cuts inside. Rodman to the far corner. It's a special goal from Trinity Rodman. Macario goes to chip the keeper. It's sublime. Lamar from distance. Across goal, Balogun! Way opens up for Alex Rodman cuts inside, Rodman to the far corner. It's a special goal from Trinity Rodman. Macario goes to chip the keeper. It's sublime. Lamar from distance. Rodman cuts inside. Rodman to the far corner. It's a special goal from Trinity Rodman. Macario goes to chip the keeper. It's sublime. Lamar from distance.
Welcome back to Highmark Stadium, where we are just about set to get this Steel City derby underway between Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Steel City FC in the first round of the U.S. Open Cup. It gives us a chance to take a look at our starting lineups. And Ryan, heavy rotation for Pittsburgh against a Steel City side that is more than capable.
8 changes for the Steelers, for the Riverhounds rather, after that loss to the Rowdies. And look for the young back McCoy. He's 6'4", big centre back. Physical. Also, he's going to partner Sousa, who's a young player himself. A lot of changes for the Steelers. As for the Steel City, again, Greka in the middle of pop, and Sumner, the forward, they're going to be looking forward to English and English matchup.
Sumner, a product of the Manchester United and Leeds United academies. Tell me how that works. You go from Man United to Leeds, arch rivals, and now he features for Steel City here. This a major clash to round out the first round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. The winner of this one getting Virginia Dream in the second round of the competition. For Pittsburgh, this is a side that made the Herculean run to the round of 16 a year ago, and they have their eyes set on another long journey into this competition. But they will have their hands full against a side that was one of the better entities in USL League 2 a year ago.
Yeah, we love what Steel City brings to this game. They're going to bring some adventure. They understand that they are going to be the underdogs, and they're going to bring that sort of carefree attitude tonight. As for the Riverhounds, though, what makes them so dangerous in tournaments is their ability to defend. Not so fast in 2026. They've been leaking goals in their first 3 matches. Can they stem the tide tonight? If they don't, it's good night.
8 goals allowed in their first 3 league matches. That's the most goals allowed in a 3-match span by Pittsburgh in 3 years. The last time that occurred, 2023. We'll be hoping they can get things off on the right foot here and notch their second victory in their opening 4 matches.
Hence the reason for McCoy and Sousa getting a chance to start tonight. 2 young centre-backs, the left centre-back and the actual centre-back, get a chance.
We are underway here from Highmark Stadium. It is Pittsburgh in their classic black strips. It is the visitors, Steel City, in their grayish numbers with black numbers. Sam Goldfarb, Ryan Davis on hand in front of a packed Highmark Stadium. This has been on the calendar for both clubs since it was announced. We had to wait a week due to inclement weather a week ago, but now finally we have the fixture.
I love the Open Cup, and boy does the city of Pittsburgh love the Open Cup today. You have the amateur team against the professional team. The pitchforks are out, the banter has begun. It's Open Cup time.
Time to find out who will have the ultimate bragging rights for years to come.
Could imagine the bets wavering in Pittsburgh tonight.
It is, in many respects, David versus Goliath to a degree, because Pittsburgh Riverhounds triumphing, winning the entire USL Championship a year ago. Of course, ran through the playoffs with then acting manager Rob Vincent, who's now got the full-time job. This is Steel City side only in the midst of its second ever appearance in this competition. But when you look at the talent across the board, this is a team that can compete if you allow them to work their way into the match.
I like their forwards, Sumner and Hadran, the 2 internationals. The Moroccan Hadran is slippery, skillful, like most Moroccans. And then you have the Sumner, who's tough as nails. He'll run down any ball. And that combination really is going to give Pittsburgh some, I should say the Riverhounds, some problems tonight.
You're going to have to specify now,
I
the 2
do.
Pittsburgh-based sides.
I do.
An early foray forward from Steel City. This is a side that qualified by running through 3 qualifying rounds this past fall. Finished as the 12th best division winner in USL League 2. So they had to do it the hard way, or as Dan Brower put it, we had to do it the traditional way. Started in the second round of US Open Cup qualifying and defeated 3 separate amateur sides to reach this stage.
Don't feel so bad for them. The opportunity to play against other amateur teams or semi-professional teams, it's just a joy to travel to different counties and play the game that you love. Believe me, Steel City is smiling ear to ear coming into this match.
Now they face the ultimate test. As here's Robbie Mertz's first touch on his first start of the season. I'm sure Pittsburgh fans are thrilled to see him back in the lineup.
Yeah, he's one of those influential players. When I say influential, when he gets on the ball, he creates space for other players because he can get away from 1-2 tackles at a time. And what does a soccer player love? Space. And Robbie Mertz provides space.
There's Griffin laying it back off. Unsurprising that Pittsburgh is looking to dominate the game. Rob Vincent mentioning to us in our pre-match phone call that he felt that their first few matches they got pinned in their own half a bit too much, especially last week in the defeat at Tampa Bay Rowdies. They want to assert themselves and put in a professional job in this fixture.
They actually had most of the possession in the Rowdies, against the Rowdies in Tampa, but they just weren't, they were very susceptible to the direct play of Tampa Bay up the wings, with Russell Cicerone sort of really pressuring the centre-backs. That's why the centre-back trio tonight have to be at their very best.
Rob Vincent said he also felt they spent large spells pinned in their own half even with the ball. So there is a goal to try and assert themselves going forward a touch more and be less susceptible to the break.
And I love possession. I mean, possession is what, hey, if you can't score without the ball. So when you possess the ball, it takes other players out of their role when you're bossing the ball. However, counter-pressing in itself is an attacking technique. If you get disrupted in your defensive third, that means they have a direct chance at goal in 2 passes.
We'll see who wins the battle of possessional supremacy versus directness, because that's what we're expecting tonight. Pittsburgh side to come out on the front foot and knock it about, but Steel City not shy about their desire to break. And we've already mentioned the forwards in Hadron and Sumner that can really ask questions.
And they're playing with house money, even though it's a derby. We love the derbies, but understand the professional team is supposed to win. Not so fast, my friends. Steel City are going to play with emotion tonight, and if they can get one, just one, all of a sudden these smiles will come off the Riverhounds' face.
He's nearly turned over there. This is Mertz. Was able to negotiate out of trouble and fouled in the process.
Well, Robbie Mertz wants to get on the ball. He's a sort of a, how shall I say this? He wants to get touches, get comfort, get comfortable on the ball, get some rhythm going, and then he can start sharing.
Year 7 for him with Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Has spent all but about 18 months of his pro career with Pittsburgh, as this is Walty's first foray forward. He lays it back off to Vieira. Now sprays it wide to Junior Etu. Looking for an avenue to cross. It's low and stabbed out for the match's first corner.
I'm a big Junior Etu guy. He is the Swiss Army knife. He's left-footed, which allows coaches to have him platoon with other left midfielders or left backs if you need, left wing backs in a 3-back system. Junior Etu is a coach's dream.
Sets up Elliot Goldthorpe for the match's first corner. His first season with Pittsburgh Riverhounds after spending last season on loan with Lexington and Tulsa.
Let's keep our eyes on the big 6'4" McCoy, who is just at the right on top of the 6-yard box now.
It's arced towards Griffin at the back post. Still wrestling for it, and it's knocked in. No whistle from our official, and Griffin has opened the scoring for Pittsburgh 6 minutes in.
Well, we just talked about McCoy hovering just on top of the 6-yard box. He didn't score, but he looked like an offensive lineman, just absolutely moving bodies out of the way. Look at this, top of the 6-yard line. 6s and 7s, and McCoy right in the way of the keeper. There was an appeals for the foul, but the referee let it pass, and good for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They get that goal that they wanted so desperately to put pressure back on Steel City.
A rapid start for Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC. The goal scored by Danny Griffin, his 19th of his career. Has another player who has spent the lion's share of his entire professional career with Pittsburgh Riverhounds, someone who's been a mainstay in the midfield and now captaining the squad. And while it's a captain's goal, he just pounces on the loose change, maybe benefits from a coming together between McCoy and the defender, but he won't complain.
Not at all. I mean, when the ball is in the air, there is no master, so there's a lot of pushing and shoving and posturing, so you can understand why the referee will turn a blind eye to some of those things. Just be consistent. That's all players want.
We'll see if that continues, and this precedent that he's set wears on through the remainder of the match. All in all, though, Griffin scoring on 6 minutes, and Riverhounds 1-0 to the good in this first meeting of Pittsburgh area foes in the Open Cup in 69 years. It's history 70 years in the making. This is a fixture that both sides were looking forward to from the jump. Now you wonder how Steel City will battle back. Now, this is a squad that is resilient during qualifying, especially the final round. Had to overcome a deficit against Croatia Cleveland to qualify and win in 3-2 fashion. So we'll see how they come out of their shell and manage this.
I like this field for Steel City. It is artificial turf. The ball rolls pretty fast. It is not a very wide ground, so Pittsburgh can't stretch them from side to side. It's going to be up and down, vertical, and that plays well for the underdogs.
We'll see if they have any long throw takers in their locker. Blizzcup. And another throw for Steel City. Torito. Well, Pittsburgh area soccer fans are going to recognize a lot of names on this Steel City roster. It primarily consists of Pittsburgh-based players or players who played their college football in Pittsburgh. So there is heavy Pittsburgh representation. Dan Brower was quick to mention that to us when we spoke to him last week ahead of the initial date of the fixture, and he's mentioned how that this is a squad with major ties to the city, players who genuinely care about the success for this club.
Like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, mom, dad, nan, grandpa, everybody's in the stadium, not only to support the Riverhounds, but this Steel City team. These guys are born, bred and raised in here. If not, like you said, they traveled here from different parts of the world to be part of this Pittsburgh setup.
There's at least 4 or 5 different players in the matchday squad who played for Robert Morris alone. So heavy university representation for one Pittsburgh area school, not to mention some Duquesne representation, and then players who are homegrowns, who are teenagers in the lineup as well. So it's a very unique blend.
Very important for this Riverhounds team. If you start to think of the big picture of 2026, they've lost their first 3 matches. You really want them to start to just bossing the ball a little bit, everyone get a touch, let the confidence grow throughout the team. Robbie Mertz will continue to pull the strings as he's doing right now.
Here's Griffin, the goal scorer. Sprays it long towards Etsu, and he does reach him. It's a lovely ball. Etsu toward the byline, peels for handball. The referee waves play on, and Goldthorpe will run it down for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Walty clips it well beyond the reach of his counterpart Vieira on the far side.
Well, it seems like the referee's not in the business of blowing the whistle tonight, so he's gonna let a lot of things go, and the players have to adjust. If this is the vibe that he's setting, well, so be it.
Do you think players prefer that style of play?
I think a player like Robbie Mertz will hate that because he's a finesse type player that wants to get on the ball. Wow. But I think a rough and tumble centre-back will love nothing better.
It's a game for the grinders, this.
Correct. It's the Steel City derby. That's why.
Griffin.
Body set just going flying.
They finally blew the whistle for something.
I think he found his whistle.
Caught in his back pocket for about 5 minutes.
Yeah. He's like, where is that thing?
Only he will know if he meant to blow it for the goal.
Yeah.
10 minutes gone here in the Steel City Derby. Sam Goldfarb, Brian Davis on hand. Pittsburgh Riverhounds 1-0 to the good in the final fixture of the first round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Danny Griffin inside 10 minutes. It came on 6 minutes after some wrestling and scrapping at the back post. Griffin benefited and drove it home beyond the goalkeeper Martin Dominguez. And that is where we find ourselves. That's clever from Santa Maria.
Love it. Superb touch in traffic.
Co-op ushering it wide. Hadron arcs in across, and it's claimed confidently by Nico Campuzano, last year's USL Championship saves leader at Monterey Bay.
Well, Hadron is that type of player. He's always going to ask the question, as you see right there. He wants to be direct. He wants to create for other players. Easy one for the keeper, though.
This one back upfield. Torito. Clever turn from Prex, but he's muscled off it. And now the whistle sounds against Steel City. You've mentioned the importance of a fixture like this. This is a Riverhound side with just 3 points through its opening 3 matches. We mentioned it off the top, conceding the most goals they've conceded in a 3-match run since 2023. And despite all the rotation, I'm sure Rob Vincent is ecstatic with the way they've started, just to set the tone for this one.
This game, there's no middle ground for the Riverhounds. If they lose this match, it'll be crushing for the dressing room. If they win this match with goals, it's exactly what the doctor ordered. They get some goals, get some confidence, bleeding into their weekend's match, so it can go either all the way to the left or all the way to the right. There's no middle ground for Pittsburgh, the Riverhounds tonight.
So far going according to plan.
Steel City, nothing can really go wrong. You're expected to lose. If you win tonight, I mean, that's going to put your name on the map on U.S. soccer. If you lose, hey, good run. See you next year.
It's a side that has never won a U.S. Open Cup match. They fell in the 2024 edition of the competition against Michigan Stars FC. Last year did qualify, but due to the fact that they announced their intention to join USL League 2, the bid was rescinded by the NPSL. And so now finally back in the big dance. And as we mentioned, this is their chance to make a real impression in front of the national audience. And it's not just for the players, it's for the club as a whole. led by a man who's been affiliated with the club since 2001 in Dan Brower. Right now, Xander Pliska and company just looking to establish themselves in possession. It's ushered back to Martin Dominguez, the Southern Methodist product. Just can't quite establish a foothold yet, Steel City.
You know, Steel City got an extra week to sharpen their tools before this match. But we want to talk about the amateur part of life as a soccer player, right? So during that week, they have multiple stories popping up that players had to leave camp to attend to life back home. While as the Riverhounds, of course, played the Rowdies, didn't go as well as they wanted, but they get to stick together as a group and continue to learn.
It's the unheralded part of this. A lot of the amateur semi-professional teams filled with players who work normal 9-to-5s. And so because of that, they don't get to train 6 times a week like Pittsburgh does. And that's the number one thing a lot of these coaches for quote-unquote open division sides, that's what they're classified as in U.S. Open Cup.
And you also don't have a stadium with your name on it.
Exactly. Here's Goldthorpe bombing forward. It's blocked away. Quality intervention there in the heart of defense by Sangwa. And finally dealt with by Steel City.
Well, if you hesitate for 1 minute to think what this Steel City derby means like to these players, Sangwa just threw himself in front of Goldthorpe's shot. So the emotion is high, and we're only in minute 15. This is going to carry right through the rest of the match.
And you feel like the longer this persists with a 1-0 scoreline or tighter, that energy will start to monopolize the match. This falls to Greka, the creative playmaker.
And it's only going to take one little play of complacency from the Riverhounds to allow Steel City to have a look at goal.
You mentioned the history. We've spoken about how this is the first meeting between Pittsburgh area sides in nearly 70 years. That meeting was between defending champion Harmarville Hurricanes and Morgan Strasser in 1957 in the quarterfinals. So this is how far back the history goes in Pittsburgh in terms of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. And now we finally resume it here as this is clipped forward by Mertz. Ammon forced wide. And now played back into the mix for Goldthorpe, who wins a corner for Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Robbie Mertz finding space for other players. And I want you to look, everyone at home, when you're trying to compare teams, look and see the speed of play in the final third. Look at that quick play by the Riverhounds. Mertz over the top, brings it on one touch. Everything is so quick and so direct. It gets into Goldthorpe's feet. Bang, he tries a shot. The speed of play in the attacking third separates the two teams.
Right now, Pittsburgh having success spreading Steel City around. An in-swinger from a set piece. This is how they got their opener. And it's dealt with much better by Steel City on this occasion. Kept in play as well. It's well worked. We've alluded to the history for Pittsburgh Riverhounds in this competition. Their 22nd appearance in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, and last year just a third ever appearance in the round of 16. And what a run it was. Started in the third round, of course, but won their opening fixture against Columbus Crew 2, and then on this very ground earned their fourth ever victory over an MLS side. A late winner by Beto Idrak making the difference. That was a night to remember for Riverhounds fans, and they're hoping that they can achieve more success this year and get to a point where MLS opposition is on the cards.
Beto Idrak, what a player he is. Puerto Rican international, just a classy player on the ball, never in trouble, and shows up at big spots. I got a chance to see him with the UCF team for about 3 or 4 years, and boy did he score in big moments for his college team.
Way out of his goal, there's Dominguez, someone who's known for being quality with his feet. He looks over the top here. Kept in play by Sumner. Only briefly, though.
Love the switch of attack. Love the fact that he tried to stretch the Riverhounds just now. And it's okay to give up possession if you want to be adventurous like that. No coach is going to give you wrong for that.
Clever flick on there from Ammon, looking for Mertz. Pliska tracks him step for step. Just get the sense, though, that Steel City hasn't found a real foothold in this. And obviously it was going to be difficult. Pittsburgh, known for its possession-oriented approach. But if you are the visitors, how do you create something, as the whistle sounds moments ago?
Try to play on, but there was no advantage. He has to bring it right back. As for Steel City, though, you have to sort of muddy the waters a little bit in midfield. Things have to get just a little bit scrappy. It can't be all finesse out there. The Riverhounds are going to finesse you to death in midfield and above. So they really do have to try and get physical, as long as the referee just allows that a little bit, and really try to muddy things up to try and even the score, literally and figuratively.
Plizga. Our two ball-winning midfielders in the lineup tonight for Steel City, and Carlos Santamaria and Cam Torito. Those two are pretty industrious. Greka's more known as a creator, as Plizga just loses control of this inside the area. And his arguments that it took a touch off a Hounds player are ignored by our referee. Samuel Reynolds overseeing everything, and we've already mentioned it. He's set the precedent that this is going to be a knockdown, drag-it-out affair.
Too much emotion for it not to be. Too much closeness for it not to be.
Goldthorpe.
It's the famous Riverhounds against the noisy neighbors, which is Steel City. So let's see if the noisy neighbors can cause a racket tonight.
Famous Riverhounds side that dates back to the late 90s. Their visitors didn't play a professional match or an amateur match until 2019. That's when the first team began in the NPSL. So it speaks to the massive 20-year gap in experience between these two clubs, and two levels apart in the USL pyramid as well, as this is snatched back. And here's Greka. Tries the inventive pass through defense and ultimately loses out. But now you're starting to see moments of enjoyment from the visitors here.
Yeah, all the nerves are gone, and they've sort of settled long into their shape. And it's not going to be perfect, because of course Pittsburgh has settled long as well. But you're starting to see signs from Steel City.
Oops. Red ball from Goldthorpe, who's claiming he was held, and a referee doesn't agree.
Yeah, the referee's definitely letting a little bit go, and that's going to help Steel City at least sort of stay in the match.
There's Prex, 21-year-old up top. Holds up well enough for Steel City, and now out wide to Greka. He's the captain, someone who's been the go-to creator in midfield for Dan Brower, who raved about him this week. Has mentioned that he's doing all this while taking med school classes. It's just remarkable.
That's amazing. He literally had to do his homework before he got on the field. I love it. That's the beauty of the US Open Cup. I hope it never changes. Like I said, keep all your new cups, your new toys. Give me the old dented one where everyone gets a chance. That's the one I want.
This is the traditional one. Over the top towards Ammon, who's still wrestling for it, and did so overzealously.
I believe he was offside when the ball was played, so
certainly tight on that front as well.
Some possession for Steel City now.
How do you play through this first line of pressure without playing over the top?
I think you try to go out wide and try to stretch Pittsburgh as best as you can.
They listen to you.
Yep. Maybe I should get on the PA announcement and give instructions.
I think they heard you through the commentary.
You're like, that's a great idea. Let's go out wide.
Well, now they're enjoying their best share of possession they have the whole match. So
you're very welcome, Steel City.
Coach Ryan Davis under Steel City employment.
Lovely tune.
Santamaria played in the national championship game a few months ago with NC State.
And with all the pressing that's happening in modern soccer, it allows defenders have to learn. Either that or you're going to be phased out of the game. But they're such good ball handlers now.
Nearly found Plizga there. Goldthorpe pinging it upfield. Ammon looked to be offside. Lost it out of play anyways.
But that's okay for the Riverhounds. They go far up the field there are. Now they get to press right here. If they turn it over, then they would have a counter press. I mean, remember the referee was sort of giving things, allowing things to play a little bit. So he's not going to give too much though. And look at the train in the background. Can we just admire the little nuances of this ground? Steel City, baby.
It is one of the most picturesque stadiums in the USL ranks. On the edge of the riverbanks in Pittsburgh.
I wonder how many balls went onto the train tracks or into the river.
Into the river would be a very interesting consideration.
Yeah.
You'd have to boot it pretty far.
Imagine asking the ball boy to go on the train tracks to get the ball.
I don't think that's in the job description.
What if he says no? Can't really get, can't blame the guy.
I mean, I wouldn't,
yeah.
Personally. Midway through this first half, Sam Goldfarb, Ryan Davis on hand. 1-0 to Pittsburgh Riverhounds in the Steel City Derby. The goal scored by Danny Griffin 6 minutes in at Highmark Stadium. Since then, Pittsburgh on the front foot, but you've seen moments of enjoyment and small questions asked by Steel City.
Yeah, we also seeing players like Griffin and Walty starting to get on the ball, which is going to make some room for Mertz. And if Pittsburgh, and one of their goals of this match is to find their rhythm as a team with the ball. If they can find that rhythm in this match, well, it's a win-win for them.
This is lofted over the top towards Goldthorpe. He's had moments in this one so far. Well, fans, on May 31st, Charlotte, North Carolina welcomes the U.S. men's national team for the All-State Continental Classico against Senegal. Get your first look at the nation's biggest stars before they head to the FIFA World Cup this summer. The match kicks off at Bank of America Stadium at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Tickets are available now at ussoccer.com/tickets. 25 minutes gone, and our first yellow card has just been brandished. He's shown to Carlos Santamaria. Sam Goldfarb, Ryan Davis on hand. 1-0 to Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and Santamaria the first man in the book.
Yeah, Santamaria, a lot of his game is going to be based on pressing, tackling. So just 25 minutes in to get your first yellow card, he went right. Even this referee can't let that go. It's coming from behind and also two arms around the player. That's just like trying to borrow his jersey and trying to throw it to the floor.
No protest there.
None.
And Samuel Reynolds with the easiest decision he'll have to make all night.
Yes.
Etu. Fourth year consecutively with Pittsburgh Riverhounds. This appearance number 103.
Spent some meaningful time with the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Oof. That is a physical tackle.
And that's the muddying of the water we talked about for Steel City, not allowing the Riverhounds to find their rhythm at that part of the field, because then they can progress the ball with numbers going forward. Etu played left wing back for the Rowdies in a three-back formation like this, and he also stepped inside to play centre midfield where Walty and Griffin are playing right now. So it really means that he can, if there is a change later on in the match, you can leave Etu on and just have him plug the holes where needed.
Etu is someone known for his versatility. Played in Ligue 2 for one season during his time in France as well. That before, of course, he made the move to USL Championship, where he's been a mainstay for the better part of the last half-decade plus. Still 1-0, and it gives you a sense that Steel City is more than ready to compete in this one. The question is, can they weather the remainder of these 45 minutes or create anything the other way before halftime?
Yeah, that's the big question. They can keep the ball in front of them, try to tackle, try to mark, play the passing lanes, but to create something on the other end, like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, that's what separates the two teams, that attacking field play.
And Rob Vincent himself saying to us in the pre-match, one of the biggest points of emphasis these next few weeks is minimizing counter-attacking opportunities, because Tampa cut them apart in the second half of that match last week. So there's huge emphasis on maintaining their structure and possession despite the advanced play, as Griffin lofts this wide. Vieira heads it along nicely. Goldthorpe Quality save at full extension from Dominguez. That the slickest move of the match to date.
Vieira's cushion header started this off. As soon as he put it in Goldthorpe's path, he's like, you know what, I'll have a crack. Great save in the end, but what a volley though. That was going to tuck into that near post.
That would have been some way to score your first Pittsburgh Riverhounds goal, wouldn't it? Now he takes the ensuing corner.
The Riverhounds behind that goal would have erupted.
Right in front of all of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds supporters. Outswinger, back post, lofted by Griffin. Nobody can control it, and right back to Dominguez.
Well, I thought that was a little too cute from Griffin. It's going to be hard to chest the ball down, give a guy a sombrero on top of the penalty spot and try and tuck it home in the middle of a corner.
Prax hoofed it forward. Reka recycles it. Pliskop was clever, but Sumner couldn't control it.
You mentioned when you're an amateur team, you have jobs to go to and you can't play football 7 days a week, 3 hours a day. You can see the little not lack of control. The control isn't as tight in traffic as the Riverhounds would be. So you can see that just now Sumner trying to control it, couldn't keep it under his feet. Possession given away. That's going to be the consistent theme of the night, I think.
We'll see if they can find that clever bit of ability to navigate through this Riverhounds back line.
Now a counter-attack is more on the menu for the Steel City.
If they can win it back with Pittsburgh's stretch, that's the moment where they'll likely have the best chance to strike. That or a set piece.
Yes.
Etu coming together with Koa. Back for Walty, who's looking to reestablish himself in the heart of midfield. Someone who Rob Vincent has mentioned was a regular starter last year, dealt with some early season injuries, and with the return of Bradley Sample last year, they just couldn't take Sample out of the team. So through no fault of his own, he's fallen out of the regular 11, but a night like this is a chance for him to reassert himself.
Yeah, so not only is the team looking for their rhythm, but players who are on the peripheral really get an opportunity to show the coach what they can do. You can show him all week long in practice, but have actual open play. That's where you want to prove yourself.
Osumanu. Great up. Griffin. Etu. They're enjoying control through 30 minutes.
I want to see Robbie Mertz get on the ball just a little bit more. He has to show. But when he shows...
This is hoof forward to Vieira. Might be awaiting the support of Mertz in a matter of moments. And here is your go-to player in Mertz.
And they have to keep feeding him. When you're playing number 10, your players have to buy into it. Because so many times a player is going to be on your back. Yes, a player's on your back. He's always going to be on the number 10's back. Give him the ball.
It's his first start of the season, Robbie Mertz. So he's dealing with some early season injury issues. Came off the bench these last two championship fixtures, but now a chance for him to be fully unleashed. And of course, he's the only player to score in the playoffs last season for Pittsburgh. They scored 1 goal throughout 4 playoff matches and won the entire tournament. Did not concede a single goal in their last 6 matches of 2025. That was the Rob Vincent way, secure defensively and taking advantage in high pressure moments. As this is snatched back and through Sumner, Steel City looks to break.
Yeah, Mertz can change the trajectory of this team if he finds his form and gets meaningful minutes. He's that influential of a player. I mean, well over 150 appearances for the Riverhounds. And so he has that demeanor. He understands what it takes to play for the shirt, as they say.
Someone who's Pittsburgh through and through.
Through and through.
And we were having a conversation with it.
Born under the bridge.
Exactly. And when you look at his career, 6 of his 8 professional seasons have been spent with Pittsburgh Riverhounds. But we were talking to Dan Brower, the head coach of Steel City FC, this week, and he mentioned how, of course, we've talked about how the bulk of his roster has ties to Pittsburgh. The Riverhounds, not many players actually are born and bred in Pittsburgh, but the big exception he mentioned to us was Robbie Mertz. And as the Riverhounds break forward here, this is Goldthorpe. A clipped cross, and it's collected confidently by Dominguez.
Yeah, after seeing Eman and Mertz at the far post, he gave the ball just a little bit too much air. Easy save for Dominguez.
He's a 23-year-old product of Southern Methodist University. He's one of the few players in this Steel City squad without a clear-cut Pittsburgh connection. Was exceptional during his 2 seasons with SMU. 11 clean sheets and 30 appearances. Now getting a chance in the Open Cup. Ammon plays it forward. Here's Mertz. It's right at Dominguez, but right on cue, Ryan.
Well, when the ball is going across your body, you can see why Mertz will overcompensate. He tried to hook the ball to that last post. When the ball is going across your body, it's going to be hard to go the other way. Put it straight to Dominguez instead.
Maybe still looking to rediscover that final third sharpness.
Yeah. And even later on in the season, he's actually could go near post by just trying to bend it into that near corner. Of course, that's going to take some repetitions and some confidence as well. Golden chance, though, to make it 2-0. And eradicate any doubt. Padron. Prex. Charging forward. And bypassing Walty. It's ushered wide. Just lacking that quickness, the ability to increase tempo right now. Speed of play will get you behind the back line. If you go back, you recycle, go side to side, back line gets back in formation, it becomes that much harder for your forwards and attacking midfielders to get space or get some daylight to shoot.
That was case in point right there. Got into a promising position, but slowed it down.
You have to take the chance just to get the ball behind the back line to see what happens.
There's Campuzano. We've not seen much of him today. Get the sense he probably won't be called into action too frequently, but when called upon last season, one of the best save makers in USL Championship with Monterey Bay FC. Not to mention, of course, his pedigree as a former product of La Masia in Barcelona.
I love Spanish goalkeepers because they're so, the expectation of them being good with their feet is part of their culture. You know, he can be an outfield player if he really tried. But now he's so comfortable with the ball going back to him. And of course, with modern football, with the pressing, you want your goalkeeper to have those abilities. And Spanish keepers ooze that trait.
By the way, speaking of Pittsburgh ties, former 2-time All-ACC selection with University of Pittsburgh. Spent time in a bulk of a number of prominent Spanish youth academies before moving to the U.S. and playing for the Pittsburgh Panthers. Since then, pretty much has spent the bulk of his pro career in the United States in the USL ranks. This is ferocious pressure. And it's given away. Mertz across for Ammon. Quality save. And it's run down by Koa. And another big chance for Riverhounds to double the lead goes begging.
That was just good sock all over. The press worked a charm. Mertz's one-time pass was immaculate. But what about Dominguez? Foot save, making himself large. Great technique as a goalkeeper.
Sumner. Greka upended. How about this chance, Ryan?
Well, they're hunting in packs, the Riverhounds. And as they disrupt, look at Mertz's one-time pass there. Puts him right in on goal, but Dominguez, great technique for a goalkeeper. Covered the angle and made himself large. Now don't laugh at me, but this is the first time they've gotten a free kick in the Riverhounds half. I would have hoped they would have lofted the ball into the 18-yard box, give Campuzano something to think about, give your forwards something to be excited about, but they recycle, and they're going to have to do it the long way.
Manufacturing question seems to be important in a match where they're going to struggle to do that out of open play.
I should get on the PA system then, just sort of bark some orders.
Tactics with Ryan Davis.
Yes.
Mertz. Vieira. Just left it dangling and ran into a thicket of defenders. And this pinged long as Prex gives chase. No nonsense defending there from Victor Souza. Mertz. Lofted forward. Ammon is onside for now, trying to round the goalkeeper, and Dominguez does enough. They've had 2 or 3 colossal chances to make it at least 2-0.
Well, as soon as the ball was given away, all of a sudden your back line is left for dead. And Robbie Mertz with that delicate pass over the top. And you can see a man who's come on for 3 matches in a row off the bench. You can see why he may not have gotten his starting spot just yet.
He's rediscovering his quality, though.
Yes. Just took too long to get the ball in front of him to get into stride.
Pliska. Mertz running it right down, and there's his defensive duties. Griffin. Business end of this first half. Still 1-0 to Pittsburgh Riverhounds. The goal scored on 6 minutes by Danny Griffin. Since then, Pittsburgh with numerous chances to get back in front and double it. And now a chance brewing for Steel City. They slow it down once again. Santa Maria. So much hesitation to put it in the quarter of uncertainty right now.
You know, players at the professional level, you see them sort of lacking that cutting edge pass or speed of thought in the attacking third. And that usually comes about when the season wears on. This Steel City team looks really paralyzed though when they get to the attacking third. Ideas just dry up.
Keep in mind, this is a Steel City side that at the USL League 2 level looks to dominate the run of play. So they're used to having more of the ball, playing more methodically. You wonder how that plays a role in a fixture like this, where they're on the back foot so much.
Well, I mentioned how much I like possession. Possession can take your attacking player, your creative player, out of the game. If I keep the ball, all of a sudden he turns into a defensive player who has to cover space for 85 minutes. That's not his trait. That could happen to Steel City tonight.
Prex runs in as Sosa there. Not to mention that when you're pressing out of possession, tired legs set in.
Yeah.
So when you get chances.
I always say it's like boxing. It's like body punches in a boxing match. It's going to show up at the end of the fight.
Right now, all the body punches are landing for Pittsburgh. Still waiting for that knockout blow, though.
I think as soon as Aman finds his legs and finds his scoring boots, we should see some more goals.
Get the sense that he feels he should have one right now.
Yes.
2 big chances within about 5 minutes of one another.
And this man tying his shoelaces, Robbie Mertz, is looking in the mood.
Strong first half back in the fold.
Yeah.
Well, Mertz, someone with 27 career goals, signed a new 2-year contract with the club this offseason in December after scoring the only goal during Riverhounds' magical run to their first ever USL Championship title. And with how long the Riverhounds have been in and around the top of USL Championship, it's remarkable that that was their first title. But finally getting over the line and winning it. As you see, Goldthorpe is slow to return to his feet after taking a shot to the head.
Well, Goldthorpe was looking at the referee saying, what do you have to do to get a call or dangerous play call? He literally got a boot to the head. Bouncing ball, always dangerous. And that's one for the head, as Goldthorpe was showing everyone, not for the foot.
Maybe forced off for a moment as they evaluate him for a head injury.
I love that protocol, by the way. Back in the day, everyone would be like, it's a stinger, I'll be fine. Now we've realized how much damage that is doing to our brains. And so the concussion protocol, I think, is perfect for modern day soccer.
For the moment, Pittsburgh down to 10. It also may discourage players from going down injured when maybe they're not, because then there's the fear of I might have to go off the pitch and it may hurt my team in the long run. Of course, in the first half, I don't think Pittsburgh Riverhounds will be time wasting at all. It seems like Goldthorpe is content to continue, so that's a positive sign.
Right now, each shot's to 0. It just tells the tale of the Riverhounds dominating midfield, being more direct with their passes, breaking lines. Robbie Mertz, on the, who's going to get on the ball pretty soon, has been making himself available.
Goldthorpe back on the pitch, by the way, for Pittsburgh. Vieira. Usumano. Sprayed wide to Etu. Can't keep it in play.
Maybe he heard the train and that kind of threw him off.
May have put him off.
Yeah. It happens on this ground.
You'd think they get used to it by this point. With all the home matches they play, especially Junior Etu.
I don't know if you ever get used to like a loud horn as soon as he's trying to trap the ball. That never.
It certainly would be off-putting.
The brain never actually sort of puts two arms around it. You know what I mean?
It could be off-putting.
Yeah.
Approaching the final minute of this first half, Sam Goldfarb and Ryan Davis here for the Steel City Derby in the first round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. We thank you for joining us. It's 1-0 to Riverhounds, courtesy of that man, Danny Griffin, who scored on 6 minutes. Since then, though, multiple chances for Pittsburgh to double the lead, and maybe one more brewing. Here's Goldthorpe, ushering it across to Mertz. Etu goes down in the area. No real appeals for penalty there. Hadron, Prex. Looking for the run of Greycup, who's always dangerous on it. Now let's see what they can conjure once they get into the final third of the pitch.
Well, they've showed us they can recycle the ball and go from side to side. We want to see somebody like Hadran or a Greycup take someone 1v1 and create space for his teammates.
Gone all the way back to Dominguez. It'll be 3 minutes of stoppage time that separate us from intermission. Sangwa. Scintillating switch to Hadron.
Love it.
This is Koa. Now Hadron. Junior Etu is just so steady on this far side.
He's seen everything. He's been around for over 10 years, playing that same left wing back or left back position or left center midfield. And he's seen everything an attacker can throw at him.
31 years of age, aging like fine wine. 5 assists in 35 appearances a year ago. 103 appearances now with Pittsburgh Riverhounds since joining the club. He's been a mainstay in USL Championship for the better part of a decade now. Sumner hitting it towards Prex. Sumner heads it back along. Out wide. Greycup. Inside on his right. Nearly fell kindly for Sumner. Knocked away. Only as far as the 17-year-old center back Regan, who gives it away briefly.
Great sequence for Steel City. Gives them a chance to get some confidence going, maybe into halftime.
Give it away to Mertz, who immediately loses it. To your point, this is their best spell of possession to date. Sangwa. Prex. Linking up well with Greycup, who lays it off to Sumner. Ammon searching for an avenue the other direction, and instead it's a free kick to Pittsburgh.
I love the fact that they got close with some 1-2s on top of the 18-yard box, but then you would hope one of your wide players will be coming around as soon as you suck in the Riverhounds on top of the box. You want somebody late coming forward around the sides to release to, and then they can get behind that back line.
Feels like they're too stagnant still, even when they knock it around. But promising signs as they continue to grow into this. Goldthorpe jumping for it. Sangwa away. It's likely the final foray forward of the first half. Etu. Mertz is popping up everywhere now for Pittsburgh. One final chance here for Steel City. Sumner. Numbers bombing forward. Hadron. Overlapping run. Early cross in. That is right to the path of Walty.
And he went right over the billboards after that cross. Here he comes. Oops.
Continues to clatter for it, and he wins it back again. This is Torito.
Can't just enter the pitch like that and come and tackle someone. So it's going to be a free kick for Pittsburgh no matter what.
So sounds. And the fans don't appreciate that from Cam Torito.
Well, he fell over the billboards, and he comes back over the billboards, charging like a horse, and knocks over Samuel Ito. Junior Ito, rather.
Ito is still down for Pittsburgh Riverhounds, so this is a point of concern. And that is the halftime whistle. Well, some late concern here for Pittsburgh with Ito going down, but a 1-0 lead on the score sheet. Could argue it could potentially be more, but I think all in all, they'll be pleased with their first half performance.
A little scrappy, and I think Steel City exactly wants it that way. The way the Riverhounds got their goal, I think, was very, very physical, but they capitalized no matter what. With Steel City, like you said, in the last 5 minutes, have worked their way into the attacking third. Let's see if they can grow on that confidence and get one back in the second.
Some signs of promise for Steel City at the end of the half, but that half still bossed by Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Danny Griffin, the difference maker here through 45 minutes in the Steel City Derby. The favorites lead at intermission. 1 foot in the second round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. We'll find out if they can get there. We'll take a quick breather. When we return, a look back at our first half from Highmark. We welcome you back to Highmark Stadium. We're at halftime of this Steel City Derby. The USL Championship outfit, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, leads the League Two side, Steel City FC, by a 1-0 score line. It's time to jump into our halftime highlights. And, well, a lot of chances for Pittsburgh. They got off to a fast start, but couldn't add the second in that first half.
No, but McCoy did a heck of a job just throwing bodies around to allow Griffin to put it back into the back of the net. Sometimes if you can't go through them, you go around them, or you push them right down and score it. So Pittsburgh Riverhounds gets that goal and gets some confidence going early in the match.
Some questions about whether or not that goal should have stood. The referee let it go, though, and called a pretty consistent match. And then a lot of chances for Pittsburgh that just went begging throughout the remainder of that first half.
They started to build their speed of play in the attacking third, and of course that's what the coach would like. But they never really tested Dominguez. I mean, this was a fantastic effort, but it's a half chance. And Dominguez handled it beautifully on his first post, and then in traffic here. But they never really got behind the defense again to get a clear chance. Again, defending in front of Mertz. Had to try a shot from outside the box, another half chance.
And then towards the end of the first half, Trevor Ammon and Robbie Mertz with big chances.
That was a big chance there. Dominguez, fantastic save, great technique. And then Ammon just couldn't find the ball. Allows the defender to come right through. Dominguez there to the rescue.
One late opportunity for Steel City, but at the end of the day, they just struggled to build through this Pittsburgh Riverhounds back line. In terms of our first half stats, here are the numbers for you. Pretty dominant from Pittsburgh Riverhounds, an 8-1 shots advantage, 5-0 in terms of shots on target. Steel City, not much of a foothold yet.
Yeah, correct. I mean, they've spent most of their time on the back foot, and credit to the Riverhounds. Not only do they have the lion's share of possession, but then conjure up 8 shots, 5 of those on target. That's very progressive possession, and I believe they have found their footing in this match.
One-way traffic in the first half for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. We'll see if that continues through the remainder of this one. We are just about ready to get everything back underway. The first round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup will finally draw to a conclusion following these next 45 and potentially longer, depending on how things persist. The winner of this one takes on Virginia Dream FC in the second round on Tuesday, so a really quick turnaround for Pittsburgh Riverhounds, hoping to advance beyond the opening round yet again. They've not fallen in the first round of this competition since 2009. They'll have to get through their regional rivals in order to do so. Riverhounds and Steel City getting back underway at our referee Samuel Reynolds' discretion. And we are back underway here from Pittsburgh. It is Riverhounds hoping to wrap things up. It is Steel City hoping to pull a shocker. Sam Goldfarb and Ryan Davis on hand for the remainder of this one. Ryan, Pittsburgh dominating the first half. If you are Steel City, what is the major talking points you think Dan Brower was going over in the dressing room?
I think confronting the Riverhounds in midfield, trying to break up plays, be more aggressive. You kind of have to take a chance in swarming the midfield, trying to break up plays there to then give you a counter-pressing chance. If you have to build up through the Riverhounds, whether through the sides or through the middle, they've shown in the first 45 minutes that they're really sort of lacking that attacking flair and ideas in the attacking third at this level. And I think your counter-pressing would be your best bet to get back in the match.
Dan Brower himself has said, we didn't come all the way to this tournament just to sit back and absorb pressure.
Yeah.
We came to this tournament to chase the match, and that's what we intend to do. And you saw signs of that, even though they did spend a large share of the opening 45 on the back foot. But there were some promising signs towards the end of the first half especially. We'll see if that carries over. This is McCoy, who should be given an assist on the opener, despite the fact he never touched the ball. And this is hooked long towards Ammon, who is onside. Held up by multiple defenders yet again. Etu deflecting it awkwardly behind for a goal kick.
Well, it looks like Ammon finally found his footing. Excellent ball control. But credit to Sangu and company to come right in front of him, swarm him, never allowed him to get a look on goal. And I think defensively, this Steel City team has shown their bite, has shown their ability to keep the ball in front of them for the most part.
I have issues playing out at the back there. Goldthorpe dispossessed immediately by Hadron. Well-weighted ball forward. And again, getting it in a promising spot for Greka, but there's no runners with him.
Yeah, because they're all concerned about, they're sitting so deep defensively in a defensive posture. Even when they do get the ball.
Well, this is interesting for Campuzano, and he's rather fortunate.
And when they push forward and they hunt in packs, trying to create offense from defense, this is their best bet, trying to win the ball in dangerous areas there.
That could have gone anywhere, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic effort.
Rare spot of bother for Campuzano tonight, and it was quality pressing from Manasa Drum, the 26-year-old product of Robert Morris University. Again, one of multiple players throughout the squad that played their college soccer there. Pittsburgh-based university. McCoy, Goldthorpe. Griffin, the lone goal scorer to date. Griffin again.
Griffin really is that glue type of player between the backs and midfield. You really want to try to run the ball through him, and then he can make decisions to go out wide or try to find Robin Woods' feet in and around that center circle.
He signed a new multi-year deal this offseason with a contract option for 2028. The club has the option. If the club picks that up and he serves out the extent of his contract, he would become the longest tenured Hounds player by seasons played. That just speaks what an integral part of this team he's been over the last few years.
And you can see why. The qualities of not only fantastic ball control, but the intangibles. Always his positioning is fantastic. His willingness to get stuck in on a tackle.
Usumanu.
Question is, how much gas does an amateur team like Steel City have in a derby like this?
And what kind of game changers they have on the bench ready to roll out. Walty, a sliding challenge. High risk, high reward.
I don't see this Steel City team pushing numbers forward until the last 15 minutes or so. You want to keep the game as tight as possible. You don't want to get caught out 2 or 3-0 20 minutes into the second half.
And they've shown some vulnerabilities when they're on the counter. Vieira flashing it in. It's laid off towards Mertz. A heavy touch takes it away from him. Hadron sprinting ahead. Who else but Danny Griffin to impede his progress. Hadron again. McCoy just muscles him away. Santa Maria. 40 minutes to go in this one. First round Lamar Hunt US Open Cup action as Steel City ranges forward. A low driving effort and a quality save from Campuzano, but that's a major chance there.
It really means so much to the rest of the players when you can force a save out of the goalkeeper. I mean, soccer isn't all about statistics. It's that feel-good moment of actually building the ball through the midfield and getting a shot off on goal. Some belief starts to set in to the rest of the players.
One of the first saves that's been required of Campuzano tonight, and it did force him into action. It wasn't a routine one either. Not the first shot on goal of the night for Steel City. The longer this goes on with the scoreline 1-0, the longer belief will start to slip in. Ammon is in behind. Dominguez wins the foot race. Clattered in the process as well by Trevor Ammon.
Well, that's what forwards are supposed to do. If they're not scoring goals, they're harassing centre-backs and goalkeepers. And you want your forward to be physical. You want the defenders and the goalkeeper to be icing their shins at the end of the night if you're a forward.
That one will leave a bruise.
Oh, most definitely.
Still have yet to see Ammon take off in USL Championship. 2 years ago had a promising season with Sacramento Republic, but last season some frustration bouncing between Sacramento and Tulsa. And keep in mind, this is a player who was an elite goal scorer in his 2 years with Northern Colorado Hailstorm, someone who set the League One record for most single season goals in 2023, 26 goals across regular season and playoffs. So he's someone who's a very capable goal scorer, but right now just hasn't been able to hit the target in clear-cut situations. Keep in mind, just his first start of the year, so the minutes have been limited as well. When you think about the options in the dressing room for Rob Vincent, Albert Dikwa, a former Golden Boot winner in championship, a former League One Player of the Year in Ammon. He's got an embarrassment of riches there, as that's knocked out of play for a goal kick. Ammon nearly creates havoc there in the press. Sangwa. Santa Maria. Back by Walty. Griffin.
Oh,
dispossessed.
Fantastic. I mean, we love Griffin, the fact that he wants to dictate the play and he has that demeanor, but he took too long. In the attacking third, there's no way you can take that much time on the ball.
And now Prex drives this wide. The flag stays down for Hadron. Hadron's cross knocked out of play, and a corner for Steel City, one of their first of the night.
Well, Junior Ito, we said he has seen everything that a winger or forward has to throw at the defender, and he read Hadron like a book. Yeah, he conceded the corner kick, but he did not allow Hadron to get by him and get that ball into the mixer.
But this is a rare opportunity from a set piece for Steel City to ask real questions, something we didn't see in the first half. It's Carlos Santamaria who makes his way over to the near side flag.
Chance for Regan and Sangwa to get right up in that 6-yard box. I wouldn't go anywhere near McCoy.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it may turn into a WWE event.
6'5" behemoth, and he knows how to wrestle in the penalty area for
Clearly.
sure. Just awaiting the referee signal to take this Santa Maria. Looks like it will be an outswinger if he doesn't go short. And he goes at it without swing. Doesn't clear the first line of defense. Needed to be better than that.
You know, in the amateur ranks, the billboards aren't there. So someone like Santa Maria will have a 3, 4, 5 step run up the cross. Sometimes with these billboards, I think he had 2 steps to run up and cross it in. Didn't get the bite, didn't get the distance in his corner.
It is an intimate environment.
Yeah, so if you're not used to it, it can definitely hamper your technique.
Fans are right on top of you from those corners too. Again, plenty on the line here for Pittsburgh Riverhounds specifically. This is a squad that has successfully advanced beyond the first round of the U.S. Open Cup since 2009. Had some auto bids beyond that, though. Goldthorpe looking to play this across. Mertz running it down, and instead a path the other direction for Steel City as they look to increase the tempo and now slow it up.
Oh, cool. Hard white shirts, you have to take a chance. If you slow it down and recycle, the Riverhounds are just going to get behind the ball. A fresh set of legs, fresh set of eyes are going to get on you.
That's been the theme of the night, too.
Have to pull the trigger and take a chance. I think Dominguez was just tested from 55 yards out.
That was audacious.
It was.
You have to wonder at what point the training wheels come off and they just start to break and not worry about their shape, understanding that they need to get back in this match somehow.
Yeah. I mean, Koa had the perfect opportunity to release a white shirt when he had a head of steam. Because he hesitated, he had to pull it back, and then that whole line of black shirts got behind the ball, and one person dispossessed him.
Souza picks out Vieira well. That's clever. Walty. Remember, the winner of this fixture advances to play Tuesday in the second round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. This fixture originally delayed 8 days. We're supposed to play on March 17th, but pending inclement weather, caused that to be postponed. We get a brilliant night in the mid-50s for this one, about 8 days later. Griffin, a vertical ball, and it's a well-weighted one at that. Vieira just can't track it down.
Impossible with the artificial turf. If it was natural grass, it would hold up a little bit and allow Vieira to get on. But you like Griffin's ideas, though. You love to see a midfielder playing that deep, trying to break the lines, a corner flag pass. Love it.
Three changes being readied for Pittsburgh Riverhounds, as Rob Vincent delves into his reserves and makes the first changes of the chess match. Hearing words, Perrin Barnes, Charles All, as well as Sam Bassett all warming up. Three go-to starters throughout the early portion of the USL Championship season. Walty. Heavy challenge from Griffin. That may be his last involvement because he's one of the three slated to depart.
Well, that's a knee to the thigh, a Charlie horse. And Santa Maria is still bending over. That is the type of pain that you just wince for the next 10 minutes.
Three changes. It's Ammon, Griffin, and Vieira all departing. Perrin Barnes, Charles All, Sam Bassett all entering. These three are regular starters, as we previously mentioned. Yeah,
they played in the Rowdies match on Saturday. Of course, that was not the best of memories for each of them. Get a chance to come back onto the pitch, maybe get that feel-good feeling with the last 30 minutes of the match. And Charles All, former Stetson Hatter, he has number 10 on his back for a reason. He plays like a true 10, but he also works without the ball defensively.
Someone who's just 23 years of age, led all rookies on the Riverhounds with 4 goals last year.
One against the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
26 appearances a year ago, so a big feature that has only seen his role grow on the young second campaign. Appeals for a corner here, and they are granted. And you see the strong fist pump from Anas Hadran. He understands how important that is.
Small victories, they all add up. And they continue to give life to this Steel City team. Now that emotion, can they bring it on a dead ball situation and get past Campuzano?
It's Cam Torito this time. Can they turn a small victory into a colossal one? This arcing in, it was a much needed touch from McCoy. Comes back out and arced right to Campuzano. Well, you mentioned don't go at McCoy.
Yeah, he's going to be there like a lighthouse in the middle of the box. But just floating it into the box, keepers are just going to gobble that up. I mean, Steel City really has to be a little bit more inventive in the last third.
Here's All. Mertz just loses it. An hour gone. Still 1-0 to Pittsburgh. Danny Griffin, the difference maker on 6 minutes. There have been chances for Pittsburgh since. There have been moments for Steel City since. Still find ourselves in a narrowly contested one, though, as Perrin Barnes gets on for his first proper touches of the match. And here he is again. Usumanu. This is sloppy, and now numbers the other way for Steel City. Hadran driving it forward. It's right off McCoy. He makes himself an obstacle. Koa. Torito.
Speed of play is picking up for Steel City in the attacking third. Doesn't pay off here, but you can see how quick they are moving the ball between one another. That's a sight for sore eyes for a coach.
Hadran's offside, but also creating havoc out of the counter press, like you mentioned.
I want to give McCoy some credit, though, with that defending. That was brave defending. And Charles All, the substitute, he was the reason for that counter press. maybe a window of opportunity for Steel City.
Well, fans, this gives us a chance to let you know that one of the greatest rivalries in women's international soccer is coming to Seattle. The U.S. women's national team returns to Lumen Field for the first time in nearly a decade, facing Japan on Tuesday, April 14th. World Cup finals, Olympic thrillers, iconic moments. This rivalry has delivered it all, and now it's coming to the Pacific Northwest. Get your tickets today at ussoccer.com/tickets. We are just beyond an hour gone. Sam Goldfarb and Ryan Davis on hand at Highmark Stadium. 1-0 to Pittsburgh Riverhounds in the final first-round clash of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. The goal scored by Danny Griffin on 6 minutes as Etu bombs forward here for Pittsburgh and tugged down just outside the area. Our referee unmoved by the shouts. And that has been a consistent theme of the night for both teams.
Good no call by the referee. That was definitely some simulation. But you want to see some yellow cards being dished out when there is simulation.
Bassett, one of the substitutes who joined from Colorado Rapids this offseason. That's loose.
That was the second giveaway by a substitute for the Riverhounds in the last 3 minutes. First one was Al, this one Bassett. As they work their way into the match, again, might be an opportunity to get a counter press, giving those guys no room on the ball.
It's the only moment tonight where you've seen Pittsburgh stretched off giveaways in their own half.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they've looked very compact, as they've historically tended to be, despite the shaky start to this season defensively. It is remarkable, Ryan. You look at the numbers. 28 goals allowed a season ago. 8 already this year in 3 games.
It's so hard to compete when you're always going uphill. It's so hard to compete when you're always down 1-0. So, that rhymes, by the way. You can use that. But this Pittsburgh team, the only way they're going to get back to it is to show up that back line. And to show up the two in front of them. Griffin has to do a better job in marshalling those troops and protecting them.
Now Griffin off the pitch after being subbed off, so you wonder how that changes things. You've mentioned some loose giveaways in midfield since. Padron, that too does just enough. I didn't know you could add Poet to your list of talents.
I'm working on it.
Footballing mastermind, tactical whiz, and aspiring poet, Ryan Davis.
Heck of a resume, huh?
It's pretty deep. It's pretty deep. Reeking away. They're chasing this. Camposano in a spot of bother. Heads it away. Did well, to be fair.
To my young friend Souza as a centre-back, you really can't afford to allow that ball to bounce. You're now facing your own goal. You have to try and get your head to that and head it to the sides. Now Camposano is compromised. That is a big no-no for centre-backs. You have to get your head to the ball before it bounced.
So it was a let off the hook there. Just 24 years old, so very young. Spent his first 3 years in MLS Next Pro, so this is his first taste with the Hounds. This is the defense-splitting pass to Barnes, who chops it back, lays it off to Charles All, and there's the doubler for Pittsburgh. It is such a well-worked finish, and the substitute All makes it 2-0.
Switching sides was everything. The beautiful switch of play. Now they're all out of position, Steel City. And what a heads-up play by Barnes. All takes a touch. Once he takes a touch just beyond the penalty spot, I mean, Dominguez is at his mercy. Great finish. Went to the roof to make sure, and the celebration to finish. I believe that was a Euro step.
It was a Euro step. It
was a Euro step, huh? Love that, Charles Hall. That was deep. The Hatter, who gave away the ball almost on a counter press, gets the goal to make it 2-0.
Well, it's his 5th professional goal, first of this campaign, and it is a tremendous finish. Top bins from just inside the area, and now a double swap for Steel City FC. So it's Koa as well as Nathan Prex who exit. Sam Bohm as well as William Afawobo enter as well. Afawobo is a fullback, Bohm is a forward, so both of those rather like for like. It was Barnes on the assist. It was a lovely goal from the substitute Charles All. And if there was any sense of doubt now, you get the sense it's been erased.
Well, now, with 23 minutes remaining, you have nothing to lose. You're down 2 goals. This is when you roll the dice. You start pushing white shirts forward. If the ball is given away, it's going to be a mad dash back to your own goal. But you have to start committing some players forward.
They're doing that now. Here's an arcing cross. Bohm needed to do better. Had the goal at his mercy and headed it well wide. That's the first involvement for the substitute. Now this hook towards Amin and right back to the goalkeeper, Dominguez. Well, from a heart and throat moment by Campuzano on one end to the second goal on the other for Pittsburgh. Can't argue it's against the grain. Pittsburgh had so many chances to grab that second in the first half, and now they finally do after the restart.
Yeah, and it came from a switch of play. Just when you change the point of attack so quickly, it can really open up space. And we just talked about how much a soccer player loves space. Barnes appreciated the space, and he laid it back for Al, and he gave Al some space. Sharing is caring, and Al's finish was very important. So often you have so much time, you overthink it, you kick it straight to the keeper, you kick it over bar, top corner, give Dominguez no chance.
For all the possession Pittsburgh has had throughout these 70 minutes or so, it's almost felt like the moments where they've been able to manufacture counterattacks or win it back in the counter press, it almost feels like that's when they've been most effective rather than their settled play in possession.
Yeah, I mean, so much goals are scored in this sport from the counter pressing, from breaking up plays in the center circle, like right here. This is where goals are scored. I think it's like 55% of goals happens this way.
Well, it's substitute to substitute, and it took a last touch off Alpha Wubo to the chagrin of the fullback. Yellow card shown, the first of the match to Alpha Wubo, the substitute for his protests.
Well, Alpha Wubo is a defender. He'll do well to be cautioned when tackling. This is not what you want from a defender. Yes, it looked like Etsu got there first and it came off the shin pads of Alpha Wubo. You can understand why the officials thought that. But he has some choice words for the referee, and to get yellow carded for that as a defender, that's horrible. 2
changes. It's Brigham Larson and Bradley Sample into the action for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Mertz and Walty to depart. Strong first half for Mertz. In the second half, maybe didn't get as much of the ball.
And again, as a number 10, you depend on your players to give you the ball, even though there's a person on your back. So sometimes the coaches look at the teammates and say, why did you not get the ball to Mertz's feet? Like our plan, even though he had somebody on him.
Bradley Sample is back, someone who solidified himself as a mainstay in the 11 throughout the playoff run last year. And of course, Brigham Larson is a tremendous talent, joining from University of North Carolina, Charlotte 2 years ago. Someone who is a real threat up top after scoring goals for fun in the college ranks. I think any nerves throughout the venue amongst the Riverhounds faithful would have been eradicated with one swing of Charles All's right boot. And for all of the missed opportunities that they would have wondered if they'd been ruining, it now feels like they've got this under control. Of course, one goal the other direction could change everything and reinstill those nerves.
Absolutely, but I'm just not seeing enough of Steel City to conjure up those chances in the attacking third, unless Pittsburgh get caught short-handed at the back.
At this point, it would be foolish of them to over-concentrate resources forward. Regan. First time we've seen the center backs truly play with the ball at their feet and look to dictate the action.
Isn't Regan 17 years old?
He is 17 years of age.
Imagine traveling, well, you're not traveling very far. Would you come into Highmark Stadium, US Open Cup on a Wednesday night, I mean, at 17 years old, I was watching freaking channels. I was watching TV. This guy's playing at one of the highest levels in this country.
It is remarkable. He's a current senior at Fox Chapel High School in the greater Pittsburgh area.
His conversation at the cafeteria table is going to be a lot cooler than the rest of the kids tomorrow morning.
I think it will be.
Yeah.
I wonder how many Riverhounds fans he'll be talking to at the cafeteria tomorrow.
Yeah, good point.
Well, you know what's even more remarkable about Sean Regan? It's not his first taste of U.S. Open Cup action because he played against Michigan Stars at 15 years old. Started in 2024.
15. Wow.
Someone with some high-level experience, to say the least. One of five Steel City homegrown players in the squad tonight.
He's a veteran at 17.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh, there's a man down in the area.
I love it.
And the referee points to the spot.
I love it.
And this is a golden chance to manufacture a lifeline.
Larson's touch with his body. Most people will trap it in the middle of their body. He turned and he had it brush past his ribs right into the part of the player. Look at this. Right there. That is absolutely beautiful. And Santa Maria wins the penalty. The touch by Larson was an assist.
This is a major opportunity for Steel City because if they finish this, who knows what direction this match could go. Pierre Santa Maria is still down in the box, so maybe some cramping issues.
Yeah, he's covered a lot of ground tonight at defensive midfield and at center midfield. So when he hits the deck, it's going to take a little while and some Gatorade to get back up.
This is his first high-level experience since the national title game in December against Washington with NC State. So it's been about 3 months since he's played in an environment like this.
Question is, who's going to step up from 12 yards out to deliver?
It appears it'll be the captain, Nick Greca, the med school student.
We talked about this at the beginning of the broadcast. Players to watch: Greca, the leader of this team, the number 10 at his back, and he will take the responsibility. Now, Campuzano is an excellent shot stopper / penalty saver, so let's see if he has enough gumph to get past the Spaniard.
It is Greca against Campuzano. This a major inflection point in the second half. Does Steel City have a lifeline?
Campuzano looks like a giant in that goal.
Long run up from Greca. And he finishes. There is life for Steel City with 15 to play.
The derby is alive. Fantastic touch by Larson. That little touch in the Santa Maria, and the apps. It was the big guy at the back. It was McCoy, and then this man, nerves of steel, shall we say, in the Steel derby. Tucks it away, captain. And it was the pace of the penalty and the accuracy, that combination, fantastic spot kick.
Well, he has scored in the first ever Steel City Derby between these two sides. The first meeting of Pittsburgh-based sides in the Open Cup since the 1950s, and he is on the score sheet. Greca making it 2-1, the native of Dubois, Pennsylvania. And now he's onto it, the captain. We'll see how this changes things.
Now they have a little pep in their step. Now they have a little swagger. Let's see if they can convert that confidence and create another chance.
He had 3 goals in USL League 2 a season ago. The side that finished atop the Great Forest Division. Went out early in the Central Conference quarterfinals, had to do it the hard way, as Larson looks to slip in behind, and that goes out for a goal kick. One more change being readied for Steel City. Nick Neubauer is getting set to check in.
Still 15 minutes to go. They don't have to roll the dice now, being down just 1 goal. Still have to stretch this game out.
Greca. Torito. Knocking it wide. Broken up by Etsu and away by McCoy. If you're Pittsburgh, how do you approach this?
I think you try to get back on the ball, slow things down. That was a tough tackle in the center circle. That was a tough tackle.
Yellow card shown to Larson. Double change being readied now for Steel City because Nolan Hutter is also getting set to check in. So Hutter and Neubauer, hearing word that Anas Hadran is one of the two that will vacate.
So Larson, the substitute, went right through Greca, nowhere near the ball. It's one of those where you say thank you to the referee for the yellow card. No arguments there.
Reckless. Greca is still down. The lone goal scorer for Steel City that has potentially manufactured a way back into the match.
The last player they would want to see down on this team just converted the penalty. Full of confidence. He was already their best player. Comes in. Does he tell the physiotherapist what to do?
I wonder. You think he can diagnose himself?
Less gauze, please. Okay, just use some more cotton wool, please. Yeah.
Whatever he's done, it's worked because he's back on his feet.
He's like, I told you guys so. This is what you do.
Dan Brower said that I feel like a smarter coach when he's on the field. And that's someone who's been coaching in the Steel City ranks since 2001. So he knows a little thing or two about training the next generation of players.
Well, I hope he comes back onto the pitch quickly. Well, Coach Rob Vincent was livid for conceding 3 goals against Tampa on Saturday. I wonder how he feels conceding to Steel City.
If you're wondering about the logistics of Nick Greca in med school, he's currently in med school in Erie, Pennsylvania.
That is Erie.
Not too far from Pittsburgh, but I don't think it's a short drive by any means. And it's now a double change is taking place as Greca waits to return. So Hutter and Neubauer are in. Anas Hadran will vacate for Neubauer in a like-for-like swap. Just to wait to see who departs for Hutter, who's a listed defender. It is Santa Maria. Santa Maria was on a yellow card, so that's perhaps tactical from Dan Brower.
I like that. Now Hutter can take a chance, can dive in on a tackle where Santa Maria couldn't. And also, he won the penalty, but he was cramping up. Lost the step, Santa Maria. And with 10 minutes to go, you can ill afford to have a passenger on the field.
This has just presented a new layer of jeopardy for those joining us. Steel City within a goal. And now pushing this into the area. It falls kindly. You get a lot more power in that header. Another high cross in. More players chasing. Neubauer goes down. Referee waves away a penalty shout, and probably rightfully. And Torito can't keep it in play. Well, fans, the U.S. women's national team will conclude its 3-match series against Japan on Friday, April 17th in Commerce City, Colorado, featuring the last 2 She Believes Cup champions. This top 10 matchup takes place on a special Hello Kitty themed night at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Secure your tickets today at ussoccer.com/tickets. Closing stages of this final first-round clash in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Sam Goldfarb, Ryan Davis here. An early goal from Danny Griffin, a second from Charles All. Looked like it had wrapped it up. But moments ago, Nick Greca from the penalty spot, adding some intrigue to this one in this first Steel City derby in 69 years. Is there a chance to break now for Steel City? And it's McCoy who ensures there isn't.
Lovely ball by Greca, just sort of stretching the field, bringing McCoy out. Now the white shirts get to push up in the attacking third, just like they did for the first one when they won the penalty.
It's another long throw. To your point, this is exactly how the penalty originated.
They're like, let's do it again.
I mean, they're running it right back. Let's see what they can conjure here through Awafa.
I would try to throw it to the near post and have someone help it on. You don't want to throw it into the trees of Larson and McCoy.
Afawubo arcs it in. Flick on header away by Ammon. This may be numbers the other way for Pittsburgh. All is ranging forward now, and the flag stays down. Looking to bypass his defender, and he does. Still Charles All, right at the goalkeeper, Dominguez.
Has to do better than that. I love the change of pace to get past the defender, but that next touch after, he lost the play. It got under his feet towards the byline. Now all he can do is try and hook it across. Charles All has to be better than that.
End to end, we've been treated to a fun conclusion of this one. Barnes, Bassett. Well, Ryan, that goal for Steel City presents an interesting predicament because you mentioned there's nothing to lose at 2-0. Obviously, you're in the final 10 minutes. You still have to throw caution to the wind. You
absolutely do. You have to stretch this. They're going to have 2 or 3 minutes of extra time. So 10 minutes from here you have left. You have to stretch it all the way out. If you get caught on a third goal, it's curtains with 10 minutes to go.
This is given away almost. It was an excellent reaction from the goalkeeper there in Dominguez. It looked like Emmett was in.
And now here, they have to push white shirts forward and take a chance and be direct. Sam, they have to be direct here. They can't go too much side to side.
I don't know if that's the directness
that's a little
they needed. I Greg Greg expected
Totally
someone
direct this
down.
Like if it was a 10, bring it to like an 8.
Yep. Or wait for the runner.
Yeah.
Just imagine the bragging rights
just for
Steel City would have if they could level this up.
If they could just level it up, no matter what happens after that, you just level this thing up against the Riverhounds. You can talk from now until the next 57 years.
People telling their grandfathers stop telling stories from the Stone Ages about 50 years from today.
Yeah, correct.
All inside on his right, an angle to shoot right at Dominguez. Already has 1 goal to his name. Was keen on a brace.
So Charles Hall does all the hard work. He splits 2 defenders, but again, can't find the ball under his foot. That ball has to be another half a yard in front of him to get the power too close to his body.
Ticking towards the final 5 minutes of the added 90. The initial 90, I should say. And it still remains up for grabs. Luke Cost is getting set to enter for Steel City as they prepare to insert another forward into the mix.
This is the last substitute for City, and Riverhounds have committed all 5, so this is literally the last throw of the dice.
Sample.
Oh, lovely Etu, lovely Etu.
Likely about to draw a second yellow, and he does. Afawubo is off. And another game-changing moment, this time against Steel City. Afawubo sent for a premature shower.
We talked about Afawubo's first yellow card. He had something to say to the referee. If you're a defender, you have to, if you're going to get a yellow card, it better be on a tackle. Gathering his first yellow card off of descent means now he put in a yellow card tackle and is off to the showers.
Well, I'm sure he regrets his reaction to the earlier decision that went against him, because now he's been sent off for a yellow card worthy offense. And well, as of now, he's staying on the pitch, even though he's been shown 2 yellow cards.
Maybe he's saying, maybe they won't recognize me if I just stand up here in the crowd.
Now he's going off.
The referee's like, oh, I saw you, get off.
It's a big opportunity. You got to try anything you can. But Afawubo's night comes to a conclusion. It's an unfortunate break for the substitute. And if Steel City are going to manufacture a way back into the match, they need to do it with 10 men.
And now, you throw caution to the wind. Now, after this set piece, you throw shoots forward. If you get beat 3-1, makes no difference.
It is a side that has never won a U.S. Open Cup match. Scored their first goal in U.S. Open Cup play moments ago. Sam Bassett stands over this set piece. May become a game of keep away for Pittsburgh, who has a man advantage for the remainder of this. Etu across, nearly rolled all the way through. Sample runs it right down. Bassett, turn from all with space to shoot, always rising.
Well, Charles Hall came on tonight to try and find some of his technique. That's part of his asset. He's a very good striker of the ball, excellent technique on the ball. And tonight is just evading him, just a smudge.
Ammon in a wrestling match for it. He's dragged down.
Now, Ammon had a golden opportunity. If he stayed on his feet, it was not a foul when he pickpocketed the defender. I think if he stayed on his feet and went to goal, I think the referee lets it go.
And he may just earn himself a talking to from our referee for intervening on the free kick.
Why is that no longer a yellow card?
Probably should be.
It used to be an automatic yellow about 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, you see it on your screen now. Afawubo sent off, so Steel City down to 10 men. A second yellow card for him. Now Ammon racing forward for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. He's had a number of chances to put his name on the score sheet. It's a minor miracle he hasn't as far as Steel City is concerned. Here's the turn from Bassett. Wanted all. Here's the goal scorer, Grenka, for Steel City.
Not to nitpick, but at that angle, you have to try and put your left foot through the ball. I know you're not a left footer, but you have to put your left foot through the ball there. He went back on his right, gets choked up now, trying to find Charles Hall.
Here's the change. It is Luke Cost entering the action, a reserve forward for Steel City, as they continue to roll the dice. A 19-year-old who just finished his freshman season at D3 Geneva College. And this is his first taste of U.S. Open Cup action as he replaces Sumner on the flanks.
What a moment for this young man. 19 years old, gets a chance to play some minutes in the Steel Derby in a U.S. Open Cup match. Midweek.
Final minute of the initial 90. You get the sense we'll probably have a few more added on due to the goals and red card. Arced forward. And we're hearing word it's going to be 7 minutes of stoppage time. So plenty of time for Steel City to work their way back into it. Having to do so down a man after the sending off of Afawubo on 87 minutes. All methodical trek downfield now for Pittsburgh. There it is, 7 minutes confirmed, Ryan.
That is an eternity. And if you throw caution to the wind for 7 minutes, if you don't capitalize on the other end, more often than not, there will be a little error on your end to give them a chance.
Everyone behind the ball now for Pittsburgh. How the roles have shifted.
I love it. I love the momentum. And down to 10 players with 7 minutes to go. Now with this space, you have to be aggressive.
Neubauer loses his footing, but he manages to keep the ball off Etu. Only briefly, though. Now Junior Etu.
Don't foul.
Quality tackle there from the 17-year-old Regan.
Well, if you're the Riverhounds, you don't go to the corner flag as yet, but you're going to throw the ball in that vicinity in case the ball is given away. Black shoots are there defensively. No problem. There it is.
They're venturing that way. All was fouled, and more time that will run off the clock now.
Charles Hall wants more than just a free kick.
Didn't look like there was much in that. I think our referee's got it right.
Yeah. Again, you don't want to commit players here on a free kick. You're going to put 2 black shirts in the box if you do decide to cross it. Oh, look at this. There's one, Charles Hall.
They may do just that.
Keep your eye on Etu on the bottom of your screen. He just walked out of your screen. There.
There you go. Toward the corner flag now.
Whoa. That looked like a Riverhounds throw.
They lose out there.
Oh, what a touch.
Break up. Numbers racing forward now for Steel City in the press. Campuzano just has to bash it clear.
How important was that Charles Hall goal?
Very.
To make it 2-1, or to make it 2-0, but still it's 2-1 now.
At this point, that's the difference maker.
Yeah.
You also wonder how important may those missed chances from earlier be for Pittsburgh. We'll see if that comes to rear its head or not. As of now, it's all a moot talking point. This ticked forward towards Ammon, who is onside for the time being. Has no support with him. Sangwa. Great up. Nifty nutmeg there. And now looking for support going forward, and Neubauer not on the same wavelength.
Yeah, great job by Greca just to buy himself some time, but the finished product has to be a little bit better. You can understand that, you know. He's been defending and chasing the ball for 93 minutes. So sometimes the decision making at this time of the night is not the best. Lovely.
Midway through the added 7 minutes now. Goal scored by Griffin in the 6th minute. Charles Ull, the substitute, coming on and doubling the lead in the 66th. But then from the penalty spot, Nick Greca pulling a goal back 10 minutes after that. We've seen ourselves in a competitive affair since. Torito is still down now for Steel City. They play on, though. Lifted cross right at Campuzano.
Now Campuzano will do well. Just slow it right down to the, and just grind it right down to the end and use the extra player and draw Steel City forward. Now it's going to give back possession through him. And I need to get on the PA announcement and back up some more orders.
Future member of the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Will Afawubo, you saw it moments ago, sent off, so Steel City down to 10. That came on 86 minutes, a second yellow card. First yellow card for dissent, the second for a yellow card tackle that broke up a counterattack. Etsu wanted the run of Ammon. Time slowly running out on Steel City FC. And at this point, Riverhounds just hoping to see this over the line at any cost. They still have a match coming up at the weekend. Sporting Jacks at home in 3 days' time. Before back-to-back road matches in USL Championship. They get Prince Cup play underway at the end of April. Steel City, meanwhile, they don't play another competitive match until the start of their USL League 2 season in May. That's May 20th, so this is a situation where they head into camp specifically for this fixture and look to make noise. Barnes inside the final 2 minutes of the added 7, and now it's destination corner flag, but he is dispossessed. Great up. Torito. 90 seconds remain of the added 7. Torito again. Sprang it ahead. A mad dash for it, and Campuzano off his line.
Desperation has soaked in. So you understand the forward passes just to try and get behind the back line any way you can. But you would like to see Greca just to get on the ball one more time to see what he can do, the number 10.
Inside the final minute of the added 7. Another high arcing long ball towards Neubauer. Can't pick out Greca in space.
So much fatigue as well for the players who've been there all game.
Still a dash for it.
Last throw of the dice.
This really is. Another cross in. Back post. Campuzano winning the aerial duel with Greca, and you wonder if that wraps it up.
He's done such a great job gathering the ball in traffic. And here's that last delivery. It's called Hit and Hope. And keeper with the pedigree as Campuzano. It makes that look too easy.
7 minutes have elapsed. All. Can they wrap it up in style? All gets it back. Forward to Brigham Larson in the penalty area now. And he may go the sensible route. There is the full-time whistle. Pittsburgh Riverhounds have safely progressed to the second round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Came in more circuitous fashion than I'm sure Rob Vincent would have hoped, but 2 goals to take the lead, and they weather the late storm against Steel City.
Lovely fight by Steel City. They tried to draw this match out as long as they could. They've done a great job in this first Steel City derby in 57 years.
The first meeting since the 50s between Pittsburgh teams, and Pittsburgh Riverhounds triumph to advance, and they will host the next round fixture against Virginia Dream. We get a look back at our full-time highlights from Highmark Stadium. The goal came early, and there were some questions about it, but Danny Griffin on the score sheet.
Yeah, he made the most of the opportunity as white shirts go flying, and it's a 1-0 to the Riverhounds.
Strong opening, and then they would continue to push on. They were dominant throughout the entire first half. Trevor Ammon had about 2 or 3 chances he could have taken, as well as this opportunity for Goldthorpe.
Yeah, and look what it means to Steel City, throwing bodies in front of the ball just to keep it at 1-0. The kind of emotion, and a fantastic save by Dominguez. Goldthorpe with fantastic technique, and the keeper matched it. Then Mertz trying to hook the ball back where it came from. In the end, found Dominguez.
Trevor Ammon was at the center of everything, had a huge chance to double the lead here.
And I think Mertz is getting himself into form. I think this is what the coach is looking for. That was wasted by Iman, and also this as well.
It's another chance where he just lost his footing in the final third. And then more issues playing out of the press in the second half. This is a chance to pull them level, but it was just didn't deflect the right way. And then finally, you just saw more chances from Steel City in the second half. They continue to ask questions. Finally, though, the second for Pittsburgh.
The fresh legs of Charles Hall. He plays like a number 10. Great first touch and just buries it at the top corner. Fantastic substitution. And Al repays his coach with a goal.
There were late signs of life, though, for Steel City.
And fantastic penalty by Greker with composure at home to bring it to 2-1.
Well, that is where we will leave things. Ryan, it was a strong performance from Pittsburgh, and they get the job done despite a late flurry.
Absolutely. They wanted goals. They didn't get the goals, but they got the win tonight. That's going to bring a little bit of feel-good going into the weekend against Jacksonville.
Well, that is where we will leave things from Highmark Stadium. The first derby in the Steel City since the 1950s comes to its conclusion, and Pittsburgh Riverhounds advance to the second round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. A pair of goals from Griffin as well as the substitute all make the difference. For our terrific broadcast crew as well as my partner Ryan Davis, I'm Sam Goldfarb saying so long where Pittsburgh Riverhounds triumph. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.